I think there's a long history to that, starting at least from 2018 when he took power. He was elected, didn't have enough majority, but was able to bring other parties online, and this way he was able to rule. But he ruled on the basis of changing Pakistan, a new Pakistan. And I think people gave him the chance. Unfortunately, in the last so many years, instead of, in fact, changing Pakistan, what he ended up doing was focusing on targeting the opposition and at the same time coming up with lots of policies that actually didn't really help people. And so it changed the mood of the people who until very recently were willing to give him chances. And so it galvanized the opposition who were divided and can still be divided later on. But they decided that they were going to now submit this vote of no confidence because the public is suffering, because there's very high inflation rate, 13%. At the same time, the cost of electricity, petrol, and everyday living is constantly increasing. And instead of taking that on board, he's developed this mantra which says that there's inflation everywhere in the world, don't complain about it and accept it.
And Samina,
sorry, go on.
Yes, Samina, he's also blamed powers in the West for trying to topple his government, and he's stepped up his criticism in the lead up to this vote on Friday.
Yes, that's the problem, because I think having failed to bring a new change in Pakistan, he had to find some group that he could blame. And suddenly, because this whole change has come about soon after the shift in Europe with Ukraine, where he was in fact in Russia just as Russians were planning to get into Ukraine and then did. Against that background, he's developed this narrative that the reason why Pakistan is being targeted is not because domestically there is any justification, but because external powers, especially Europe, is annoyed at the independent foreign policy that Pakistan is pursuing. And in that, he points out that it's China and Russia that are really being the reason why Pakistan is being targeted. And this whole narrative has really been presented everywhere, but it's been presented by Imran Khan. If you ask people in Pakistan, where I was only a few weeks ago, they're really tired, or very ordinary people, poor people, middle class people, not the upper class rich people. And so I think it's laying the blame on them while forgetting that Imran Khan could have delivered and he hasn't managed to deliver. And there's another problem, which is that effectively he has also in a way annoyed the military, that until very recently was credited with at least supporting him, if not bringing him to power. He was known as the selected prime minister, not elected prime minister. But he's very recently reacted to a statement which the military issued saying, we are neutral in this conflict. And he reacted by giving a statement, not directly mentioning that it was the military, but saying that human beings are either with the right or the wrong, only animals can be neutral. So if you put that together, it's very easy to understand how he may have even put the military offside. And in that context, you can't blame the military.
Yeah.
Who else can blame?
How many defecting MPs are there, and what's required to vote Imran Khan out in terms of numbers?
Right. At the moment, he needs 172 MNAs or members of the parliament to support him. Either side, if it gets 172, they can get through. Now, at the moment, he doesn't have enough on his own, and the opposition already has 162 members of their own with all the parties together. So all he needs is any 10 members defecting, not just necessarily from his party, but even the other political parties that were nudged into joining Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf or PTI. There are already indications that the Balochistan Awam Party may shift its loyalties. MQM, Pakistan is also indicating. And then there are members within the PTI who, some of them actually took refugees refuge in Sindh, one of the provincial Sindh houses, and then they were targeted by others. And so the government itself has already started asking the Supreme Court to say, please check the legality of these people changing their loyalties from PTI to the opposition. Now, there's a slight complication here because it hasn't come out, or at least I haven't seen, but there was a statement from the Supreme Court to the effect that once you're elected on the platform of a political party, deciding which way to vote is a collective right. You can't exercise individual right. It hasn't come out as a decision, but it does open up the possibility that if Imran Khan loses this no confidence vote, then he could go to the Supreme Court. But there's another problem. He's already started calling upon his followers to come and show their anger at the external powers and everyone else targeting him, which is more serious, I think.
Samina, Yasmeen, thanks so much for your time tonight. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.